How long has it been since you last wrote? A day? A month? A year? Are you finding that the words just aren't coming? That you want to write, but you just can't? Is this writer's block or just writer's burnout? So let's head into the storm.
It's the raven's call, the werewolf's howl, the vampire's bite. You search through the woods for safety, but all you find is... Okay, rights.
Hello, writers, and welcome back to Spooky Writes. My name's Kemal Onor. I'm a horror short story author, and if this is your first time checking out the channel, I post videos Monday, Friday, and shorts all between those days. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. Help to grow this channel. Means a lot. And also, if this is your first time, where have you been this whole time? We talk all things writing here at Spooky Writes, so make sure that you join the community. With that said, let's dive into the... So today I'm going to be talking all about how to recover faster from writing burnout or even writer's block, how to get back to facing the written page. A lot of authors will find that they end up taking a break, and this break will lead into months, will lead into weeks, months, and it's just a long time, and we end up falling out of habit of writing, and a lot of times it'll be from different circumstances. So know that there's a lot of reasons why you might end up falling away from being in the habit of writing. A lot of writers will write every day, especially when they're in the process of working on a novel or a long, lengthy manuscript. And a lot of times this becomes habitual. We end up writing every single day. We come to the same project. But what do we do as authors when we end up taking a break, when there's some transition, when we end up taking a week off after, or even after we've finished a project, after we've finished our novel, after we've finished a collection of short stories, or we've finished a very long manuscript that we've been spending the last year or year and a half working on? What do we end up doing to refill our creative well after we've felt that our creative well has run dry? And again, there are so many different reasons why we might feel this. It could be a transition that it could be something as little as possibly moving, or even in my personal experience, to people graduating from a writing program, people having kids, people having some change in their life that's going to end up forcing them to take a pause. It's going to force them to take a pause from writing, and this ends up having them taking a break. It ends up leading to them taking a week off. It can be incredibly frustrating when we tell ourselves, I want to get back to writing, I want to start writing again, but the words aren't coming. My creative well is still dry. I'm still recovering. I'm still in the process of wanting to get back to writing. And a lot of times we beat ourselves up over this fact. So many times when we feel the desire to want to write, but we feel that the words aren't there, this can lead to a lot of guilt. It can lead to a lot of shame. It can lead us to say, why am I doing something else? Why am I watching TV? Why am I hanging out with friends? Why am I doing things that are not writing? And we feel shame as authors, as creatives. We feel a lot of guilt about how we know internally, and our mind will think, and we'll just kind of feel this idea that we should be writing, and we know that we should be writing, but for one reason or another, we're not able to sit down. We're too stressed out. We have too much going on in our lives. We haven't yet adjusted. We go to the well, and the well is just dry. There's no words there. Our creativity is nowhere to be found. You might even try and sit down to write, but everything that you write, you end up deleting. Everything that you write just comes out wrong. You're facing the blank page, and you're just not even sure where to begin. Again, a lot of times this will occur after we've accomplished finishing a lengthy project, after we've accomplished finishing something that we've worked years on, and we're just not sure where to pick up the next pieces. It might not always be that. It might, again, be something like you just graduated from a writing program. You no longer have the structure. You no longer have to meet certain deadlines. So something to know is that this is a perfectly normal experience. And oftentimes when we hyper fixate on the fact that we want to be back writing, that we want to be sitting down writing, and we're just forcing it, we're trying to grind our gears, we're trying to give ourselves ultimatums and saying, if I don't write today, I'm not going to go outside, I'm not going to do something that's going to take my mind off of the fact that I should be writing, the fact that I want to be writing. I'm too sort of gunked up inside. I'm not able to focus. I'm too frustrated. I'm too stressed out. I would argue that this is definitely a form of writer's block. And so the first big tip, the first thing that I'm going to suggest that you do if you want to speed up your recovery time, if you want to speed up the amount of time that you have taken away from the time that you've taken away, and the time that you felt very frustrated in the fact that you're not writing, my first recommendation is that you just take a breath, because the more that you fixate on the fact that you feel you should be writing, the more that you try and force yourself to get back into the habit of writing when your creative well is dry, it's going to have the opposite effect on what you want to accomplish. It's going to fill you with guilt, and you're going to be so frustrated, and it's going to really make you never want to write ever again, because if you're feeling guilt and shame and it's not your intended purpose, I understand this, but it's going to have the effect of every time that you think about writing, you're going to feel guilt, and you're going to have this very negative emotion associated with something that deep down, I know that we all enjoy writing, but if we're feeling guilt, if we're feeling shame, just even with the act of thinking about wanting to come back to writing, we're going to instinctively associate writing with this negative feeling, with this feeling of guilt, this feeling of shame that we want to be back writing, but we're goofing off, we're doing something that is not writing, we're being unproductive, and so I believe it's very important to not rush this process. Taking a break from your writing is a completely natural process. I think a lot of people will want this process to be super fast. They'll want to say, I just finished my novel, now I need to have the next idea. I finished this short story, I need to write the next short story, I need to keep writing, I need to keep my motivation going. Otherwise, I'm going to be seeing this lengthy pause, and I don't want to have these lengthy pauses. I want my well to be constantly full. I want to be constantly coming up with new creative ideas, and I think it's so important to understand that taking a break from your writing is a natural process. We all need time to recover. So remember this idea that trees lose their leaves during the winter to survive. They need to take a break from basking in the sun. It's a natural occurrence, and just like with writing, when you finish a novel, when you finish a big project, my advice is that you allow yourself time to take however long of a pause, however long of a break that you need to take, and let it just naturally occur. There's really not a lot that you can do about it. Understand that we can't constantly be go, go, go all the time. It's just not possible for us to constantly be writing, because writing is mentally draining. It's very taxing on us all as creative people. And so it's important that we take breaks from our work. It's important that we're not constantly forcing ourselves to write when we have no creative willpower in us. We need to take pauses to refresh and refill our creative wells. And so while it can be painful to wait for your well to refill, while it can be painful to be taking this break when you really want to return to writing, when you really want to get back into it, unfortunately there's not a lot that you can do about it. Just like when you send a text message to a girl, there's really not a lot that you can do other than wait for her to never text you back. And so just worrying and trying to rush this process it's going to have the opposite effect than what you want, than what you're intending. So you need to just allow yourself to accept the fact that breaks are natural. We all have to sleep. We all have to take a pause, and when you pause from your writing, it's a perfect time for you to reflect on the project that you just completed. It's a perfect time to reflect on what that experience was like, because if you're just go, go, go all the time, it's going to lead you to burnout. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to suffer writer's block, you're going to suffer all these negative effects. And so just like how professional athletes, when they get injured, and I know that it's football season, but say a football player gets injured and they've broken their leg, they're not immediately going to get back out in the field. They're going to have to take a pause. They're going to have to take some time to rest and recover. And it's the same thing with writing. You have to take time to rest and recover and let your creative well refill. So the more that you try and force this, the longer you're going to prolong your rest and recovery time. If you're constantly feeling frustrated, if you're constantly saying, I need to get back to the written word when your creative well is dry. So the number one of the things that you can really do is understand that this is a natural process, and take the pressure off your shoulder. I'm going to say take any pressure that you are putting on yourself to get back into your writing mode off your shoulders, because it's having a negative effect on you. It's negatively impacting your own ability to recover and your ability for your well to refill. It's going to your creativity is going to come back naturally, and you have to trust this. It's a process of writing and then taking a pause, reflecting on how that project went, and it's so important to take these pauses. And so many times people will just say, I have to go, and this leads to burnout. It leads to people getting so overwhelmed with the fact that they constantly feel this desire to perform, this constant desire that if they're not writing, they're not a real author. And this is something that you need to understand. You need to understand that everyone needs breath. Everyone needs time to take a break. Everyone needs a chance to rest. We all need to sleep. We all need to take pauses where we take a step back from our writing, when we take a step back and we are able to survey our projects. So remember that writing is taxing on you. Even though you're not lifting weights, even though you're not running, unless you're writing in a gym, which I did that once and it didn't work out very well. I ended up dropping a dumbbell on my laptop and I can no longer use the I key. So just like with working out, you need to take breaks, you need to rest, you need time to recover. Writing is incredibly taxing on your mind. It's incredibly taxing on you as an individual, as a creative person. Writing is taxing. It's exhausting. You devote so much time and so much effort into crafting the perfect piece that you are capable of, and it takes so much out of you that by the end of a year and a half of working on a novel, or a year and a half of working on whatever your big lengthy manuscript is, or even after coming out of an MFA program, or coming out of an undergrad program, there's a sense of an end, and everything has an adjustment period to it. So understanding that adjustment periods are perfectly normal, understand that it's vital for you to accept the fact that you can't be constantly go all the time. You have to take pauses. You need to rest. You need to recover. And it's so important to understand this. And the more pressure that you put on yourself to be hyper performing all the time, it's going to make your healing process even longer. So when you stop focusing on trying to speed up your recovery, when you stop focusing on trying to get back to the page as quickly as possible, and instead you allow yourself a natural rest, a natural pause, an opportunity to take a break, this is going to help speed up your recovery better than forcing yourself to try and get back to the written page. If you allow yourself to have a natural pause, if you allow yourself to take a break, if you allow yourself to just let your mind wander, and I would highly recommend that you do other things. This is a great time for you to be reading books, to get caught up on your to-read list. It's a great opportunity for you to reconnect with people, a great opportunity to just go on walks, because the less that you focus on your own writing recovery, the less that you focus and try and force your mind to get back into writing mode, the quicker you're going to recover, the faster you're going to naturally feel your well be refilled. And if you stop worrying about it, if you stop focusing on it, it's going to naturally fill all by itself. And next thing you know, you'll be sitting down, writing away. I believe that it's vital that you put some distance between yourself and your writing projects. Put some distance between your desire to write and the natural pause that you are trying to take. Go on walks, reconnect with people, do something that might be even writing adjacent. Again, read books, watch some movies, do something that takes your mind off of writing. And I think there are a lot of opportunities for you to do smaller writing projects, but don't put so much pressure on yourself. But don't put so much pressure on yourself to have to get back to the page before you're ready. Allow yourself the opportunity to come and sit down and try it out. Try writing a sentence and then try putting another sentence in front of that one. But again, don't feel that you have to sit down. You have to write the same way that you were writing before. Allow yourself an opportunity to breathe. Allow yourself an opportunity to take a breath, and the universe will do its thing. You will eventually be able to come back and sit down and understand that it's a season. Nothing lasts forever. So just remember that sometimes the quickest way for recovery is going to be the path of least resistance. It's going to be taking your mind off of the fact that you want to get back to writing, taking your mind off of the fact that you feel shame and you feel guilt for not writing. If you allow yourself space and just focus on something else, just like a pot of water, it's going to boil a lot quicker when you're not watching it, when you're not paying attention to it. You'll just wake up one day and go, oh my goodness, I want to write. And so again, take the path of least resistance, and as always, keep it spooky. And then of course, here's your writing prompt for sticking all the way through the video. On my morning walk, I discovered blank. So set your timer and start writing. Thank you so much.